This might be controversial, but are our parents contributing to the decline of our language skills? This in particular, I'm referring to Shona, the language spoken in Zimbabwe. We have seen comments even on the news, not just Shona speaking nationals, some other parents from abroad who've mentioned that they are reluctant to teach their children their mother tongue because they want them to easily assimilate with the locals. Do you believe that's true? Comment below if you're watching this and tell me your opinion. I've gone back because I am born of Zimbabwean parents and I learned, well, they taught me Shona as our language or mother tongue, but they also pushed the language of English at the same time because Zimbabwe is a colony of England, so our educational structure had influence of the UK. So that's how our modules were. So going back into the educational structure then, I looked at an article. This was written by UNICEF a few years ago, which breaks down some of the structure of what the educational system was or could be now in Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe had, well, known for its 5 indigenous languages, which are, well, as Shona itself, the language, has 5 dialects, and these are broken down, well, 16 languages altogether, but 5 dialects that are known under the Shona criteria. So we've got Chikorekore, Karanga, Zezuru, Manika, Ndao, and this was recognized by UNICEF in 1980 when Zimbabwe got independence. So the law they used back, well, they're still using in the educational system, recognized under the National Constitution in 2013 was that they recognize these 16 official languages. But I only mentioned our 5 dialects for context. You can go back and look. And these 16 languages in general are used all over Zimbabwe. But the dialects I've mentioned are taught, some of them are taught in parts of Zimbabwe. So if I do find a map, I'll be able to sketch it out, but we'll see as I'm recording this video. I might put it, I might not, depending if I'll be breaching copyright laws. So they've said that according to this, the 19, I have to find it now. According to this UNICEF article, it mentions that or the Standard of Education Act, actually, of 1987 is where they went through and said, well, that's what languages were set as a standard back in the day. And they had said back in the day that from the 1st grade till the 3rd grade is when children would be instructed in English and also have their native language taught as part of their school curriculum, depending on which part of the country of Zimbabwe they lived in. So, and then they withdrew that compulsory need to have the mother tongue being taught in schools, and then they pushed forward with English as as children got older. Now, us living in the diaspora, some are privy to parents or grandparents with a teaching background. It might not necessarily be in the native language of Shona, but they have teaching skills and teaching abilities. So they've taken for granted that language skills will still need to be taught at home, especially the mother tongue, due to us all not being in the environment where we have native speakers around who immerse us in the culture and the laws and the ways of living whilst living in the diaspora. Being in contact with family and friends, I've noticed as well that we have well spoken Shona parents, cousins, uncles who will be very fluent in Shona, but when it comes to speaking to nieces and nephews, they speak in English and they don't even teach the language the way they have the skills to learn. So I'm like, are we, as even myself, are we now encouraging more of the English language at the expense of our own? And what resources are available out there? Because I've been looking myself to upskill on my own native language. Because it's one thing to be taught English, but not to reinforce the same for my own native language. So when I'm looking at resources living abroad, there are some, but we need a lot more considering our language. And for as long as I've been born, I've had to go to the library to learn English. And when it's looking for resources in my dialect, there's confusing amounts. Some say one thing, some say another. So that's one thing I think, and I put out to the generations out there, that can you help pick up this baton that I'm pushing forward to encourage us to build these resources, not just for us, but for the children's children and future generation, because we don't want to be one of those lost languages only because resources weren't made available when there has been people speaking the dialect. And when it comes to encouraging the children, I see lots of parents very anti encouraging their children to speak their own native language because they're concerned about the accent. But as everyone who's come abroad from Zimbabwe, they've learned to assimilate. So will the children. Even some children have learned to adopt other languages, not just Shona, the French, the Portuguese, and they've learned it over the years, but they'll never go back and pick a resource in their own mother tongue, which is a shame considering technology is there, advancements are taking place, and we all have the opportunity to contribute towards making those resources available now that we're all tech savvy individuals. As you can see, me on YouTube, and other people have other skills like designing, web design, you know, app design, now that AI exists, to keep our language alive. So there you go. I think it's something to consider. However, I did want to pick up on the point of the 16 languages that were referred to. The other 16 are Chewa, Khoisan, Jambaya, Ndebele, Shangani, Tswana, Venda, and Xhosa. That's in addition to the 5 already mentioned. So it's something to look at, something historical to research about Zimbabwe. If you did know, it's something to think about and consider. And unfortunately, is getting a bit dark when I'm recording. So as long as the audio is okay, I'd like you to suggest or put an emoji of a high five if you reach the end of this video. But I think it's something to consider, that what resources are we going to create to keep our own language alive? It's not necessarily people in the diaspora. It can be a combination of the people in the diaspora and those currently in Zimbabwe, because I think it's quite a push now that Zimbabwe is in the media once again to think of the best way to keep our language alive. So till the next video, take care, and we will end here.